And speaking of men who use their veteranship to win fights, man, Ryan Bader, brother, the definition of using a veteranship. And we were just talking earlier, brother, and I actually don't remember if the mics were cold or not when we were saying this, but I thought that Bader did enough to get the nod in this fight, this very close fight that I had 2-2 going into the fifth. I thought Bader he did just enough with the little pot shots, little elbows that went unanswered. Like he even said it in the post show, he's like, I gave him like 20 unanswered elbows. He did what he needed to do to win the fight, and he knew it. But Moldavsky, like you said earlier, he did have a case to win this fight. So what I wanted to do is go over the MMA decisions. And this one is a little different, brother, because Bader, he only gets 4 nods in the media score. For Moldavsky, he gets about 7. So 7-4 in favor of Moldavsky for 48-47. And it could have gone either way, brother. But what it came down to for me was that last round where Moldavsky was tired. Yes, did he have the control? Did he get Bader on his butt at the end of the fight? Yes, absolutely. But Bader was giving him shots. And those, you can't say that, they meant nothing. So what do you think, brother? Robbery, close fight? What are we talking? What are we calling this?
Man, this was a hard one. I think close fight. I don't know. I don't necessarily know about robbery. Maybe, possibly a little bit more towards the robbery than the last fight we were talking about in the Henderson fight. But I had even, man. I had Bader winning the first and the fourth, Moldavsky dominating the second and the third. Yeah. And man, it's a hard one because was Moldavsky in more danger than he put Bader in? Yeah, probably with those head strikes. Bader showed his class, man. He showed that he knew he had to save it for the fourth and the fifth. He looked a little tired in the second. I thought he was gassed already in the second. He came out a little plotty, got dominated in the second and third, saved his energy for the fourth and the fifth, which is a very smart move from him. And I don't think either fighters, besides that first exchange in the very first round where Bader absolutely dropped bombs on Moldavsky, I don't really think anyone else was seriously in potential danger. Maybe those elbows from the top in the fifth when they were coming down, like you said, he landed like 20 unanswered. But was he in serious danger? It's a little rough. I don't really know. Again, this goes back to what I was saying in the last fight. I'm glad that the Arizona Commission made it so it wasn't just dominant, or it wasn't just top pressure and control that mattered, especially when your head's by somebody's hips and your head's down and they're just beating on you with an elbow. It isn't as advantageous as something else that could have been going down. So I'm glad the Arizona Commission scored it the way they did, because it means that there's other room for interpretation. It's not just the control that has to happen anymore. I always think of the TJ Dillashaw versus Sandhagen fight, where I think Sandhagen still won that fight, but they gave it to him. They gave it to TJ just because of control, not necessarily a winning style of fighting, even though points do count, I guess. Nobody wants to fight for points, though. I mean, come on. Let's be for real right here. Control, though, from Bader. I mean, not control, but a veteranship for Bader. Very impressive either way. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Now, like I said, I was so impressed because I was watching it. When I was watching that last round, because I'm live scoring. I already know the outcome. I already know Bader wins. So I'm like, how does he get this? How does he get this done? I was like, is this a robbery? Because I was like, when 2 and 3 are happening, I was like, Moldavsky is taking over, bro. But then Bader gets the nod in the fourth. I agree. I had the same scorecard as you. And then I give the fifth to Bader just because of the little pot shots. But like a minute 30 left, and he's dropping those little elbows, dropping those little shots. And I was like, Bader, you sneaky bastard. I was all like, you're winning. This is how you won the fight. Literally, I was thinking about that. I was like, you won the fight just doing those little things, which some people might say, oh, that's not enough to win a fight. That's bullshit. Because those strikes, were they really like hurting Moldavsky? No, but it was just a little something to think about. You know what I mean? Let me drop these elbows down so you have to adjust your head. You can't get as deep on the shot. You know what I mean? You move your head back towards the chest as opposed to the side. It wasn't going to put him out, but it did something, and that's what counts, because Moldavsky did nothing. He held him, and he did not throw any strikes, and that was what was interesting, is that even when Moldavsky was on his back, I was like, you know what's the one thing that I wish you would do is the one thing that, it's tough because these are heavyweights, right, but the flyweights do, the Brandon Royvals do. He's on his back, he's throwing elbows, he's throwing everything up, he's hitting you constantly off of his back. We don't see heavyweights do that as much, but if Moldavsky could have done that a little bit, would have been impressive. I did just want to just show a little bit of love to both of these fighters, but Ryan Bader specifically, brother. He threw this right cross that he used to kind of slip the arm, kind of do a form of an arm drag and get straight to the back of Moldavsky. He wasn't able to take the back immediately, but eventually he was able to get there. And I was just like, bro, Ryan Bader, like, this is what I was saying. I was like, it's just, even at heavyweight, these are small heavyweights. I was like, that's so fast, so deceiving right there, man. That was a beautiful technique. Moldavsky had some beautiful techniques of his own, man. He used a lot of that judo, a lot of those sambo, a lot of trips, a lot of that Greco-Roman. In terms of this matchup, I wanted to ask you in its totality, will we see these two fight again?
Oh yeah, 100%. I almost think we have to, especially if Moldavsky gets a couple wins under his belt, and really starts getting that kind of rise, and Bader keeps winning. I think this is a fight that needs to happen again, because I could just keep going back to the fact that neither guy, besides that first interaction, neither guy was ever seriously in danger. So I think it was such a close fight that we need to run this back, man. What do you think?
You know what? I think that that's a very fair assessment. I don't know what Moldavsky's going to have to do to get that rematch back, but I do think that this was a unconclusive. You know what I mean? It kind of felt like it was like, okay, do this 10 times and it might be 5-5. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally that close. Just because the one X factor that won it for Bader, I think, is the striking. He just had better striking, brother. Like, he had to make Moldavsky worry about that, where Moldavsky, he really only had the big right hand. So, I mean, he wasn't really using the check hook as much as that he normally does. Either way, man, this is the first real title defense for Ryan Bader at heavyweight, because his first title defense, if that's what you want to call it, he retained the belt via no contest against Czech Congo. And listen, brother, we're going to see the rematch, so it's going to be fun. This was a great, great card overall.